Hey guys, welcome back to another nightcap. I've got the kids put down to sleep tonight, I hope. Probably be about 30 seconds and I'll hear pitter patters across the floor above me, but I'm currently getting ready for a back-to-back weeks of fishing where I'm going to the Harris Chain of Lakes outside of Orlando, Florida, for the first Bass Southern Open, and then I go right from there to the second MLF Pro Circuit event on Lewis Smith Lake in northern Alabama. And this is one of those times I feel like I am bringing everything I own, because the Harris Chain in Florida is like a power fishing lake, typical Florida lake, but it's also got some decent offshore stuff. And it's like the type of lake where you can almost ledge fish it. And not like, you're not fishing ledges, but you need to bring kind of your offshore ledge fishing tackle. Crankbaits, you can bring spoons, you can bring, your big worms, football jig heads, that type of stuff. So I'm bringing a ton of stuff for that. And then we go to Lewis Smith, which is going to be very much a pre-spawn event. It's super clear water, lots of big spotted bass, got some largemouth too. So like I've got all my finesse stuff packed for that. And then I started packing, like I have to pack specifically for the circuits. And one of those items that, I have in my truck right now is a net, because we're allowed to use that in the FLW Pro or the MLF Pro Circuit. But we're not allowed to use it in the Bass Opens. So, it's like we've got things that we need to pack for one event and not another event. And my truck is going to be very full. But that's what I wanted to talk about today, was the nets. It's really interesting to see how we are very much progressing, it feels like, to no nets. You're looking at all the major circuits out there, the elites, the opens, the MLF BPT Tour, no nets in any of that. Really the only net circuit that's left is the Pro Circuit, and then you've got the Toyota Series. And those are MLF side of things. Bass has pretty much gotten away with them, and on the MLF side, the BPT Tour doesn't. The lower levels do. So, I get asked, like, what is your thoughts on it? And really, as an angler, my thoughts are, I don't really care. Like, I like using nets, but I feel just fine not using them. Like, I consider myself a very good net person. I take pride in my netting skills. But I also think I'm pretty good at landing them by hand without using a net. And it doesn't really matter to me, because of the fact that I know that my competitors have to deal with the same thing. So it's not really like there's a big advantage one way or the other. If there is, if you're a good net person, or versus a bad net person. But the reality is that if you feel like you're confident in your skills to net a fish or hand land a fish, then it doesn't really make a difference to me. I do think that in a pro co circuit, so if you're fishing the Toyota Series, I do think that if they allow nets, which they do currently, that the co-angler should not be able to net the pros fish, and the pros should not be able to net the co-angler fish. I only say that because there is a big advantage at that point. If a pro is paired with a co-angler that is a superb net person, that pro has an advantage over another pro that is paired with somebody who is not a good net person at all. And it goes, I've had both. I've had guys that made some of the best net jobs I've ever seen, and I've had guys that, literally had eye problems and could not see like where the fish was. And I've made money because of it, and I've lost money because of it. But I do think that if you're going to allow nets, you need to allow that person who is hooked up to net their own fish. It takes that variable out of the equation, and it just puts the pro against other pros, or the co-angler against other co-anglers. You know, from a fish care standpoint, I don't know that there is a huge difference from, you know, netting a fish to swinging a fish in the boat. You know, either way, if the fish is flopping around in a net, it's kind of the same as somebody swinging a fish into the boat and letting the fish flop around on the carpet. Now, obviously, I think that it's a little bit more invasive on that fish when they come flying in the boat and hit the bottom of the boat. But you know, from a slime factor and the fish rubbing off on things, I'm not sure that there's a huge difference there in fish care. I do think there is a huge difference when you land the fish by hand in the water. You know, when you, like with what the BPT guys are doing right now, you know, they get violations or penalties if they don't land the fish properly. So either, you know, basically what that means is if the fish hits the carpet at any point or gets pushed up against the side of the boat at any point, they get penalized for it. So, you know, if you lip a fish in the water, or you're able to swing the fish in but grab the line and, you know, put your thumb in the fish's mouth while it's still in, you know, the air, I think that's a lot better than a net, and I think that's a lot better than swinging a fish into the boat from a fish care standpoint. But, you know, if the ultimate question is simply, do you think nets should be allowed? I really don't have an opinion on it one way or the other. I will do it if it's allowed. If it's not allowed, I don't feel like it's much of a disadvantage, you know, at all from that standpoint either. It's kind of the same way I feel like when people ask me about 5-fish tournaments versus total weight format. For me, you tell me where you want me to show up, and I will fish it. As long as we're all the anglers are fishing by the same rules, it doesn't really change the game. It's, you know, that the question is simply, what do you prefer to do more at that point? And as a professional, I'll do either. I enjoy both formats. You know, I enjoy 5-fish, I enjoy total weight, I enjoy netting, and I enjoy hand landing. So that's my take on it, guys. You know, let me know in the comment section what you guys think. I'd be curious to hear, you know, I know there's a lot more debate about total weight versus 5-fish, but we don't really hear much about the net issue. So I'd be curious to hear your comments as to if you think nets should be allowed or not allowed. So feel free to leave the comments in the comment section. If you enjoy the video, like it, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Thanks for watching, guys.